Hello and welcome back to the Clash KO channel. Today I wanted to talk about a manga series very near and dear to my heart, Battle Angel Alita by Japanese mangaka Yukito Kishiro. Battle Angel, also known as Ganmu in Japan, is a cyberpunk story written from 1990 to 1995. The main series itself spans just 9 volumes, following the story of a cyborg who has lost her memories named Alita, or Gali in the Japanese version. With the live-action movie dominating the spotlight and premiering as perhaps the most anticipated live-action anime/manga adaptation of all time, I wanted to take this opportunity to share my thoughts about the series while giving a summarized overview of its plot and story. The saga begins with a cybernetics physician named Daisuke Ito. One day while scavenging for parts in the scrapyard wastes of the future, he finds the broken remains of a robot girl. This girl's brain has been kept alive by her cybernetic body, and Ito takes her home and slowly fixes her up. Upon awakening the girl, however, she has no memory of who she is, so Ito decides to call her Alita, or Gali in the Japanese. Ganzu, Ito's assistant, remarks that Alita was the name of a male cat of Ito's that has recently died and teaches Ito about it. Ito quickly comes to view Alita as his own daughter. Alita clearly means a lot to Ito, and though she has to grow emotionally from scratch throughout the series, Ito will have to do some growing of his own too. Ito goes through stages of possessiveness as his daughter explores the dangerous world around her. Speaking of the world of Battle Angel, Alita finds herself in a city of advanced cybernetics. People in this setting are fitted with all sorts of robotic parts. A person's identity and life, however, are stored in their brain. Their bodies can pretty much be destroyed or changed, but their brains cannot. The scrapyard itself sits below a city floating in the sky known as Typheres. The residents of Alita's world subsist on the waste that falls from the city, and as a chaotic ecosystem coexisting with legions of robotic workers that conduct farming and production for the city above, shipping materials up to the floating metropolis with giant tubes. Ito is somewhat of an exception in this world, all flesh and blood himself, and with a curious marking on his forehead, a marking that we come to know means that he was once a citizen of the floating city of Typheres. The first story development is rumors of a serial murder. The parts of victims show up on Alita's body, and Ito is mysteriously missing at late hours of the night. Alita decides to follow Ito, suspicious of his actions, but learns the doctor moonlights as a rocket hammer-wielding bounty hunter and was hunting the killer himself. Alita ends up jumping in to defend Ito against the killer robot and becomes aware of some sort of hidden fighting potential dwelling within her. Inspired by Ito's good intentions, Alita decides to become a bounty hunter herself, though Ito isn't too happy about it. Her decision breaks his vision of her as a doll-like daughter, ending the Lolita complex B-plot for good. I dwell on this moment of character development because it really showcases the depth of characters in Battle Angel. In this moment, Ito is upset with Alita, but even more so with himself. He sees the error in his attempts to possess a woman whose life he saved, but brings himself back to allow her to be her own person. Not that she was waiting for his permission, of course. In the midst of this family struggle, a murderer obsessed with eating people's brains named Makaku emerges. Alita confronts Makaku, demonstrating her combat skill by easily cleaving off the giant cyborg's arm, but the body Ito has made for her is entirely obliterated by his brute strength. This is the first time in the series that Alita, as we know her, is bodily decimated. Ito is also injured in the attack and Makaku escapes. This begins the cycle of Alita rebuilding herself stronger and stronger as the series progresses. The trauma of the incident helps reconcile the rift with Ito, and Ito decides not just to accept Alita's decision, but to help her. He reveals a body he had recovered a long time ago from a crashed spaceship called the Berserker. The Berserker body is weapon incarnate, meant for soldiers to fight a war in space. Ganzu has to perform the body transfer as Ito is still injured, but Alita successfully fuses with the Berserker body, giving her access to unbelievable power. Ito warns Alita about the Berserker body, noting that it was only meant for destruction. While Alita is getting a new body, so is Makaku. He manages to steal the body of a fighting ring champion. Alita, a bit arrogant with her new body, accompanies Ito to Kansas, a hangout for bounty hunters. Alita and Ito plead for help, but nobody offers to assist them, angering Alita, who basically trashes the place while making an enemy of bounty hunter named Zapan. We'll get back to him later. In the midst of the scuffle, Makaku arrives, murdering at will. Alita shows she is a match for Makaku's supersonic tentacle fingers, so he kidnaps the bartender's baby before punching a hole in the ground and escaping once again. Alita goes to follow him into the depths of the city, but Ito cannot follow as he is still injured. Throwing herself into the darkness of Makaku's world, in this lonely darkness, Alita has a moment of reflection about her own insecurities, adding yet another layer of complexity onto the character. Yes, she is a powerful combatant looking to stretch her potential, but she is also aware of the fragility of the people around her and her own heart. She has snapped back to reality as the baby's cries meet her ears and dives headfirst into her confrontation with Mikaku. While I've extolled the virtues of Kishiro's character writing so far, I do want to reaffirm that this manga is a masterclass in battles. The showdown between Mikaku and Alita demonstrates a refined control of space, pacing, art, creativity, and storytelling through action, not just text. Alita exudes power despite her diminutive size, and control despite her speed. The sci-fi is strong here too. Alita is wielding plasma controlled by electromagnetic energy and leveraging not just the sheer power of her berserker body, but the might of her martial arts and battle skills. Despite the aid of a combat strategy computer and perceivably the best fighting body available in the scrapyard, Mikaku is simply overwhelmed by Alita's Panzerkunst, a martial art ingrained in her soul from her previous life. While Alita is indeed an angel, a being who fell from the sky and is reborn as a savior to those in the scrapyard, Mikaku's backstory is presented in contrast. He's a literal leech, a worm. He was a child living in the filthy underground, disfigured by the cruel whims of others, and then given the means of karmic justice by a mysterious man bearing the same forehead mark as Ito. Alita isn't immune to the tragedy of this circumstance, though she does reign victorious. So that's where I'm calling it for part 1 of the series. In the next part, I'll be covering Alita's first love story and where the Battle Angel is headed next. If you like this video, please let me know with a thumbs up and subscribe to make sure to catch part 2 of Alita's story. Until then, I'll see you next time.